If you've clicked on this video, you are probably looking to buy a brand new car. Or maybe just looking to know more about cars, but probably you are looking to buy a brand new car. And if you are looking to buy a brand new car, the probability of you wanting an SUV is high, because that's what we like, isn't it? The SUV body style is what Indians buy. What I love, what you love, what everybody loves. So I thought I'd do a bit of a quick preview of the my top 5 SUVs coming out in the next few weeks, few months, whatever you want to look at it that way. They're big. Well, they're not big, but they're important big. And here is that list. Kicking off with number 1 or number 5, however you want to look at it again, the Honda Elevate. So the Honda Elevate is a make or break product for Honda. There's no other way of looking at it. If this fails, Honda might fail in India. I mean, yeah, sure, the City does sort of well and the Amaze does sort of well, but they really desperately need a proper SUV, and a proper SUV from scratch is what the Elevate is. It isn't some van masquerading to be an SUV, which is what the Mobilio was and which is what sort of the BRV was, although I do like the BRV, sort of. It did make some sense in some places, but the Elevate is brand new and it is based on the Honda City platform. It isn't some half-baked product which was based on a lower platform but was priced higher. It's not that. It's a proper, full-fledged Creta, Grand Vitara, Seltos, Taygun rival. And it sort of looks nice as well, at least from what we've seen so far. Yes, it misses out on something like, say, the big panoramic sunroof, and it definitely is going to miss out on 2 big things: the diesel engine, which is what the Koreans have, and the turbocharged engine, which is what the Germans have. But then Honda does its naturally aspirated engines really well. So at launch, it's going to get that 1.5 that you get in the Honda City, 120-ish horsepower. It's going to get the automatic gearbox, because obviously everybody wants an automatic now. Nobody really wants a manual gearbox anymore, unless you're like a hardcore driver with like an obsessive finger on Instagram saying manuals are better. Well, in this sort of a car, manuals aren't better. The automatic is better. But the hybrid one will not be at launch, which is weird, because what Maruti did and what Toyota did with their SUVs is brought the hybrid in at launch. Honda might not do that. The hybrid might come a little bit later, and I'm guessing when the hybrid comes in, it might get a little bit more kit as well. So that's definitely something to look out for. June 6th is when the Elevate sort of does a global unveil in India, and that's something that hasn't happened for a while with Honda. They did it with the City a few years ago, but it's an important car nonetheless. And I think prices are going to be around the 12 to 20 lakh rupee range, typical of what a Honda SUV will be. So that's one car ticked off our list. Let's move on to another Japanese car, and that's of course something that we've all talked about, all seen, all discussed infinitely, the Maruti Suzuki Jimny. Now, by the time this video goes out, we would have probably driven the Maruti Suzuki Jimny, and the review might be coming out very soon. In fact, the review drops on the 26th of May. So if this video comes out after that, or if you're watching this video after 26th of May, go back and watch the Jimny video, because, well, it's gonna be cool, isn't it? Jimny, definitely something to look forward to, definitely something that's cool. In fact, come to think of it, the Elevate and the Jimny does have something in common. Both are gonna be the 1.5 engine, both non-turbo, both naturally aspirated, both really good engines as a package, right? The Jimny obviously is going to have a manual, it's going to have an automatic, it's going to have a 4-wheel drive version. Overall, 4 doors, specifically for India, still a sub 4 meter SUV. It's cute, it's like a toy, people are going to want it for the novelty factor. Please buy it in green if you're going to buy it. It looks very cool. Black looks cool as well, and I can't wait to drive it, because is it a real successor to the Gypsy? Is it a competitor to the Thar? We'll know all of those questions and a lot more when we drive it soon. So that's something to look forward to, and prices are going to be out later in May or maybe early June, and it's definitely going to be a hot car. I would expect 15 lakhs maybe for like a top spec model. At that price, as a toy, yeah, why not? Some people might be able to afford it. Most mass market people might not, but well, it's a bit of a balancing act, isn't it? Talking about mass market though, here's an SUV that's been quietly making waves despite it being the oldest of the lot in its segment. Yes, I'm talking about the Tata Nexon, and in this list, we're going to talk a little bit about the Tata Nexon facelift or the Tata Nexon update. We don't really know what they're going to call it. That's coming very soon. Now, first and foremost, I literally see a mule of this Tata Nexon facelift update or whatever you want to call it every single day. I see it on the expressway. I see it around our PowerDrift offices. I see it around the PowerDrift studio space. We see it when we go out shooting in the middle of nowhere. So Tata is really putting on those testing miles, and from what we can sort of see or gauge underneath that crazy camouflages, it's gonna look a lot better than what the Nexon is looking now. Now, Nexon isn't a bad looking car. In fact, when it was launched, I called it the prettiest subcompact SUV that there was, but it's sort of getting a little older. It sort of needs to be updated a little. It does need to get in sort of line with what Tata Motors' new design language is. So stuff from, say, the Safari and the Harrier. And I think Tata does really have it dialed down in terms of how it drives, especially with the EVs, and of course all the spec that it gets, especially now with that bigger screen put into place there. Something that was a big sore point, a missing point in that Nexon. Now, the Nexon also comes in various versions, so you'll have those special versions sort of carry on. So like a dark version, Kaziranga edition, and the private jet edition or whatever it was called. Lots and lots and lots of editions, right? I'm guessing all of those special editions will continue, and that's actually been helpful for Tata because a little bit of freshness in the lineup gets you new buyers, gets you new eyes. I mean, it's still a hot selling SUV, isn't it? So that update is coming up pretty soon. I'm guessing it'll still have the diesel engine, it'll still have the petrol engine, and obviously it will still have the two electric options. The normal one and the Max, both will sort of coexist, and that Max, that's the sweet spot. That's what the Nexon is all about. That in fact is one of my favorite sub 20 lakh rupee cars to drive around, especially in an urban environment. I absolutely adore it. That said, next car, but that's something that should have come already by now, but it's been delayed, and it's probably delayed a little bit more, but it should be in our markets very soon. I'm of course talking about the Kia Seltos facelift. So we all expected it to come in January at the Auto Expo. It didn't. Then we thought it'll come a little bit later in the year before the financial year ends. That didn't happen either. So then we thought, okay, maybe it'll come a little bit later, and we all heard May. Well, we're halfway through May and it's not happening now either. So when is it coming out? Well, now what we're hearing is a little bit more of a delay, just a slight bit more, till they sort of get rid of all the older stock that they still have, and they still have a little bit of stock with some dealers. I'm guessing June-ish or July is when we should see that Kia Seltos facelift finally come to India. And it's a big facelift because it takes a car that actually looks really good. And now you might hate me for this, I think the Seltos looks timeless. It looks conventional but still really good. It'll age really well, and it makes it this new modern Kia design that we all have come to like and love. It's sharper, it's sort of more angular, but it still keeps like this Kia generic or general design sort of the same. Again, it's going to get the updated engine, so it's probably going to get that 1.5 turbo that's now in the Verna and the Alcazar, and it'll probably get its way into a lot of other cars. Diesel is going to continue because Hyundai and Kia are going to sort of stick to their guns and have that diesel engine moving forward because they've updated that diesel engine, haven't they? And of course, it's going to have manual gearbox and automatic gearbox and the DCT. So a whole bunch of options, something for everybody. And then you're going to have the special editions. So again, if you want something that little bit stands out, you can have that as well. Especially that matte colored version, which seems to be really popular in some sort of segments. But it's definitely a car that's coming really soon. Slight price bump, obviously, but it will be here. I think in another month or two from when this video goes out, we should have it here, because any more delay and it's going dangerously close to the end of the year where there is the possibility of the Hyundai Creta facelift sort of get preponed, and that might be an issue for the Kia Seltos. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that come soon. And talking about Hyundai, that's the final car on my list, because another car that's been setting the sales charts on fire is the Tata Punch, and Hyundai now has an actual answer. Okay, so what is this? It's of course a micro SUV. That's the segment that has been debatable, right? Is it a big hatchback? Is it a cross hatchback? Is it an SUV? It does look like an SUV. It's got like claddings and stuff. And it isn't a cross hatchback because there is no normal hatchback that it is based out of. Fine, sure, it's based on the Grand i10 platform, but there isn't any normal non-SUV looking extra that exists. So this is a micro SUV for all intents and purposes. Now, mechanically it's got the same powertrain as the Grand i10. It gets the 1.2 liter engine, it gets a manual gearbox, it gets an AMT gearbox, and it gets a CNG option as well. So there is really something for everybody in that sub 10 lakh range where there are not a lot of cars really to play with anymore because everything has become a lot more expensive. Cars that were 10 or 11 lakhs like 4 years ago are now 15 lakh rupees. So then definitely is some sort of a vacuum space. And this Hyundai SUV will fit in there really, really well because Hyundai SUV, I mean, what's not to like? And it looks fresh, it looks different, it looks quirky, and quirky in the conventional way, which is what the Exter is, sort of works. So that's the 5 list to look forward to. There are of course more cars coming as well, like for example the price announcement of the Citroen C3 Aircross, or the Punch Electric that we are all looking forward to, or a whole bunch of luxury SUVs from a whole bunch of manufacturers. And of course there are some EVs coming in as well, but in terms of mass market stuff that you should watch out for, this is the important stuff. So what do you think about it? Did we miss out on something? Should I have talked about something else and replaced something in this list? Tell me in the comment section below. And as usual, please argue with us about what our list is, what it isn't, and what your favorite SUV from all of this is, and what you're really not looking forward to seeing on Indian roads. Because you guys are always opinionated, isn't it? I'll see you in the comment section. Thank you for now. See you soon.